In this video, we are going to talk about stomach physiology. First, to understand stomach physiology, let's talk about parts of stomach. Stomach has basically 5 parts. First is fundus of stomach. Second, this is the body of stomach. This is the cardiac region. This is the antrum, and this is the pylorus. Now let's talk about structure of stomach wall. Stomach wall has basically 4 layers. First is the outer serous layer. Second is muscular layer. Third is submucous layer. And fourth is inner mucous layer. This outer serous layer is formed by peritoneum. Muscular layer is formed by 3 layers, which are inner oblique, middle circular, and outer longitudinal. Inner oblique, middle circular, and outer longitudinal. Third is this submucous layer, which contains areolar tissue and blood vessels, and it also contains Meissner nerve plexus. And the most inner layer, inner mucous layer, contains gastric glands. This contains gastric glands. Now let's understand gastric glands in detail. So gastric glands are tubular structures made up of different types of cells. So gastric glands is of 3 types. First is fundic glands. Second is pyloric glands. And third is cardiac glands. Fundic glands is also known as main gastric glands or oxantic glands, situated in the fundus of stomach. Now, fundic glands are considered as the typical gastric glands, and cells of fundic glands are, so which types of cells are present here? First is chief cell, which is also known as pepsinogen cell. Second, parietal cell. Third, mucous neck cell. Fourth, enterochromaffin cell. Fifth, enterochromaffin-like cell. So these are the 5 cells which are present in the fundic gland. Chief cell, parietal cell, mucous neck cell, enterochromaffin cell, and enterochromaffin-like cell. Pyloric glands present in the pyloric part of stomach. And which types of cells are present in pyloric glands? So it has G cells, mucous cells, enterochromaffin cells, and enterochromaffin-like cells. Cardiac glands are present in the cardiac part of stomach. And cells are EC cells, enterochromaffin cells, enterochromaffin-like cells, mucous cells, and chief cells. Now let's talk about secretory function of cells in gastric gland. First is chief cells. And chief cells secrete pepsinogen, renin, lipase, urease, and gelatinase. Second is parietal cell. which secrete hydrochloric acid and intrinsic factor. Third is mucous neck cell, which secrete mucin. Fourth is G cells. They secrete gastrin. Fifth is enterochromaffin cells, which secrete serotonin. And enterochromaffin-like cells, which secrete histamine. So these are the cells which are present in gastric glands and their secretion. Now let's talk about gastric juice. So gastric juice secretion is 1200 to 1500 ml per day. It is highly acidic with pH of 0.9 to 1.2. It is highly acidic with pH of 0.9 to 1.2. This is due to presence of HCl. Now let's talk about composition of gastric juice. So gastric juice is basically 99.5% water and 0.5% solids. And in solids, there are organic substance and inorganic substance. Let's talk about first inorganic. So inorganic is HCl, sodium, calcium, potassium, bicarbonate, chloride, phosphate, sulfate. And inorganic, there are enzymes, and inorganic, there are enzymes and other organic substance. So in enzymes, there is pepsin, renin, gastric lipase, urease, etc. And in other substances, there is mucus and intrinsic factor. Now let's understand the mechanism of digestive enzymes of gastric juice. As we all know that HCl is present in the gastric juice, which will activate the pepsinogen to its active form pepsin. Now this active pepsin will convert proteins into proteases, peptones, polypeptides and help in digestion of proteins. Next enzyme is gastric lipase. Gastric lipase is only active when pH is between 4 to 5 and it is a weak lipolytic enzyme when compared to pancreatic lipase. This gastric lipase will convert triglycerides into fatty acids and glycerol. So breakdown of triglyceride. Then third is urease. This will convert urea to ammonia. Fourth is renin, but renin is only present in animals. It is not present in human.